Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, The Real Super Sam. Today is another first appearance comic review and I hope you enjoy. About a year after the Batman 1966 TV show premiered, Detective Comics issue 359, released January 1967, came out and it was the first appearance of Batgirl. The villain of the story is a villain looked at as a loser nowadays, Killer Moth, but back in the olden days he was top 10, and tonight he has a plan to kidnap Bruce Wayne one night while he's on the road. During this event, Barbara Gordon, dressed up as Batgirl, sees these criminals and decides to intervene, flipping around Killer Moth and his two henchmen. Killer Moth uses his silk gun to web Batgirl to the side of Bruce's car, and then escapes with his underlings. Batman pulls Batgirl free, and introductions are made between the two. Yeah, even when Batman and Batgirl working together, Killer Moth still gets away. They later break into Wayne Manor, and Batgirl as Barbara Gordon was about to sell Bruce Wayne a book, changes identities, and sees Bruce Wayne murdered by Killer Moth. Well, in the end, Batman, Robin, and Batgirl follow Killer Moth and his crew to their lair and rummage through his traps and knock out Moth. First off, I want to say that Killer Moth as being Batgirl's first supervillain is probably why he was in LEGO Batman 1. This may be one of his best stories, honestly. I think it easily could have been adapted into the live-action show. He has really cool weapons and can really fly. His color scheme is always wacky, but that's what makes him a little more enjoyable. It's always been weird to me that Batgirl's costume is a literal Halloween-like party costume. Here, she's also just seen as a normal person, no gymnastics training or anything, but I guess her jumping in to help a guy from villains is a heroic thing, so it's not all a bad first introduction, thought of being a superhero. The creation of this revised Batgirl character was inspired by the pending appearance of the Batgirl in the 1966 live-action television series Batman. On September 14th, 1967, Yvonne Crane debuted as Batgirl in the opening episode of Season 3. I guess behind the scenes, thanks to Adam West Batman, which technically had Batgirl first, before this comic, Batgirl never would have happened without the show. Killer Moth was in what's called Season 3, Episode 0, the unaired 7-minute mini-episode which had Batgirl first meet the dynamic duo, and Batman 1966's only time fighting Killer Moth, and they did it in the library Barbara Gordon is working at. When I read these decades upon decades old comics, it's a nice surprise when the dialogue isn't all stiff and fake sounding. Maybe that's just me, but this story still holds up. Though I do like the updated ones a little bit, like the one in the Arkham comics. With that said, those are my thoughts on the, quote, $1 million debut of Batgirl. Thank you for your viewership.